name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Threign, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant Barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello,
everyone.
Welcome back, everybody. It is wonderful to see you once again for our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign. We are ready. We are raring to go. We have one apology for tonight. Unfortunately, Ali is unable to make it. She's had some stuff going on, family stuff. It's all okay, but it's taken a lot out of her. So we won't be seeing her tonight. But she's doing all okay. Her family's doing all okay. It's just some stuff's happened. And she's not going to be joining us for tonight's session. So I will be playing the character of Lyra for tonight's session. For Twitch people and YouTube watchers, you will notice that Jared's camera is not on. Jared, care to explain yourself?
So, last time I had this issue a couple of weeks back,
I'm going to say stern.
I had it. Obviously, the camera was not working, and since then, and we had a bit of time off, I never fixed the problem. So, yes. Off tonight, unfortunately, but we'll be coming back online soon. I've got a friend coming over to fix it up. So, but looking forward to jumping in. I've caught up as well. I listened to Spotify. So
how did I go playing Threign? Was I accurate in what Threign would say and do?
Yeah, I was actually pretty happy with it.
Great. Look, I'll take no complaints. Good. So happy with it's even better. The bare minimum I was going for is no notes. So that's awesome. Brilliant. Perfect. I don't have any other fun behind the scenes announcements. Just a massive thank you to all the lovely people who came and watched the charity live stream over at Corsair's Cove on the weekend. It was a nice 6 a.m. session for me to play in on the Saturday morning. It was lots of fun playing a different TTRPG system called Castles and Crusades. We had loads of fun. The DM was Chuck from Troll Lord Games, who's actually the publisher of that particular system. So it was really, really cool having one of the experts in that system come and do a session with us, and we I think we got very, very close to the charity goal throughout the entire sort of 48-hour streaming time. So massive thank you to everyone who came and joined us for that. It was lots and lots of fun. I did die. Yeah, didn't quite make it to the end. But in my defense, I was the last person to die. So I guess that's also something as well. Yeah, we normally sort of do like a pirate themed thing, because it's normally for talk like a pirate day. But because everyone always does pirate themed things. So last year I ran a pirate themed one shot with Dave. This year I was getting to enjoy being a player, and we weren't doing a pirate themed thing. We were doing sort of like a horror campaign where we all started off having been afflicted by a necromantic curse, and knowing that at some point during the campaign, one by one, we would all succumb to it and become zombies. And Josh was absolutely the first to go, the man hosting the entire event, which was quite funny. Only one of the players made it to the end. Only one person. So it was, it was I believe a corpse run is the correct phrase. So
I'm assuming it's very easy to die in these sorts of games. That it's kind of.
I think it's as easy to die as the DM wants it to be.
Okay.
Would be my kind of read. But it was loads of fun. So that'll be coming up on Josh's YouTube channel at some point in the near future. I think he's just got to edit them all down. He's got a lot of work, and he's very, very tired because he was streaming for basically 48 hours straight. So hopefully he's had a bit of a chance to catch up and get some rest. But just wanted to say massive thank you to everyone who came and joined for that. It was loads of fun. There were also some really, really cool sessions of Humblewood, of D&D 5th edition, using the new rule set as well. And I believe there was also a Kids on Bikes, which is a really, really fun TTRPG, kind of like Stranger Things, where you play as children in like the 1980s, 1990s, solving a mystery. Very, very like Scooby-Doo cross Stranger Things. It's a really, really cool system. One that we might have a bit of a play around with at some point in the near future too, because it is a lot of fun. After the Cosmere TTRPG, obviously that's high priority, the highest. I don't think I have any other fun things to share. Anyone else got anything fun to share before we jump into the session? No, looking good.
Not really.
Great. Everyone's happy. Let's jump in. I've done a very thorough recap just in case, Jared, you weren't quite up to date. I'll cut it down while
all
I'm
good.
doing it.
Looking forward to hearing it nonetheless.
Perfect. Well, then I'll do the whole thing then. Now, let's do our recap. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, Threign, and newcomer Bartholomew are exploring the vast caverns of the Underdark. Drawn below by rumours of stone giants taking over territory, it has come to light that the Duergar are providing the stone giants with slaves as part of a massive mining operation. After assisting the deep gnomes of Blindenstone, reclaiming their fortress home from a draconic Behir, the plan is now set to head deeper into the caverns, territory known to be occupied by the Duergar and stone giants. Taking a moment to rest and recover before their expedition, the group found themselves once again immersed in a giant dream, this time travelling deep below the earth in the company of the stone giants. Taking the opportunity to question their guides, the team learns this dream seemed to be taking place before a number of their other recent experiences, their giant echoes seeming to be travelling to the stone giant city of Tontenur, the Stone Teeth, to present the details of a treaty to Elder Hunmar. Arriving in the centre of the city, the team stepped out onto an enormous stone circle, marked with runes traced around the circumference, standing before an enormous sphere. Emerging from the sphere, Elder Hunmar approached the party, revealing the giant echo Harry was inhabiting was in fact his son. The discussion around the signing of the treaty was initially rather tense. Elder Hunmar resisted the idea of working with the surface world, but the team was slowly able to change his mind, Bart pushing for Hunmar to connect with Harry's Heartstone to experience the truth of the surface. This did not go how the team thought, Hunmar's shape twisting and warping into a form of metal and shadow. Realising this entity might not be friendly, the team leapt to Harry's defence, allowing him to escape back while the rest of the party took on the shadowy figure. Revealing itself as Animus, another giant construct similar to Figment, Harry's patron, the entity fought with the party, seemingly trying to take Figment from Harry. Despite dealing some hefty damage, Animus was soon overwhelmed, allowing Figment to draw upon its core and take some of its powers in controlling the giant dreams. With Figment now able to influence the dream, the party rewound to before Animus had appeared. Able to fully convince Elder Hunmar to sign the treaty and form the Other Thing, the party found time accelerating around them, showing the stone giant city growing in prosperity initially, but then falling into disrepair and breaking apart, before a sudden light and low note marked the disappearance of the stone giants and the end of the dream. After discussing their experiences in the dream and the ramifications it could have on their immediate plans, as well as the situation developing above ground, the team set off. Tracing the edge of the Dark Lake to a deep fissure leading to the forge halls, the team cautiously made their way through the darkness. Ember and Niles spent some time scouting ahead, Ember using his drow cloak to allow him to climb across the stone like a spider while Niles took to the wing. Partway down the narrow paths, Niles spotted a small fire being extinguished down a side cabin. Making his way back to the group to report this, soon Harry noticed the sound of snuffling coming from below. Right as Ember asked if Niles had been followed, a large clawed hand grabbed the edge of the stone wall Lyra had been making, revealing a large white-furred, bear-like form. The creature called out in a gravelly voice to the party, calling them Bashkins, and demanded to know why they trespassed on Quaggoth territory. Sharing their goal of taking on the Duergar and stone giants, the Quaggoth led them back to their nearby settlement to speak with the Thonot, a psychic or psionic shaman. Looking into their minds, the shaman seemed to find what it was looking for, agreeing to provide the team with 6 Quaggoth trackers to help lead them below into the forge levels. And we left off last session as the team made their way down the narrow tracks into the Dorcha Chasm, this enormous, shattered scar in the Underdark leading down into the darkness below. As you emerge onto a small platform, your pathway having led through a series of winding tunnels perpendicular to the chasm, soft orange light rises from below, and as you look down, you can see at first glance what appears to be a lake of fire, a rolling mass of orange and red, lighting up the surrounding area with this soft flame-like radiance. The pathway that you're following is clearly well looked after. This section that the Quaggoths have led you to, mostly on very, very out of the way goat tracks up until this point, now you can see evidence of care and maintenance. And below you, about 200 feet, crossing this enormous lava river, is a huge dark metal bridge, easily 40 feet wide. Sections of this dark, soot-covered iron forming this enormous structure rising high above the molten steel, molten lava below. And you can see figures patrolling the bridge. Short in stature, grey-skinned, white-haired, and dressed in dark metal armor. As your Quaggoth guides slow to a crawl, the Quaggoth with the cut on its cheek, the one that you had spent the most time talking to, looks down, sniffs the air, and turns back towards you. Greyskins, dwarves, Duergar below. As it pauses and looks over you, seemingly waiting to see what you want to do about this. Next to you, Harry, one of the Quaggoths that's leaning over you. You feel this sudden splatter on your shoulder, and as you look, you can see this enormous bear head is drooling as it looks down at the Duergar below, its mouth beginning to salivate. Probably that's a bit spooky.
So, from what we can see, there was 2 guards on the bridge. Is that what you said, Owen?
You can see a number. Staring from above, given that you are sort of about 200 feet above, looking down towards the light source below, underneath the bridge, it's hard to sort of make out exactly how many. You can see 4 currently moving across the bridge very easily. The movement and the motion allowing you to sort of spot them. It could be more though. If there are guardhouses, or if there are coverings, or even like Ember, as you gaze down onto the bridge from above, the armor that they're wearing matches the tone of the bridge almost exactly, and the grey skin and white hair actually does a pretty good job of blending them into the metal of this bridge. If there were maybe 1 or 2 more sitting down on the metal bridge, it would be pretty hard to spot them, to be perfectly honest.
Everyone, I'm not sure who of you have come across Duergar before. It's different to the dwarves that live in the mountains. The Duergar are much deeper, twisted, like that Darrow that we saw. They have odd magic, just like the, I guess, chaos that is down here. We can't be deceived by what we see. Duergar have the innate... actually, just quickly, DM, it wouldn't be too metagaming of me to know that Duergar have like the racial traits they do, considering I was like kept their slave for so many.
You would know. You might not know all of them because like they might not necessarily display all of them in front of you, but you would 100% know that they can grow in size, like and fight at a larger size, magic warping their bodies and the clothes they wear to allow them to grow to quite a large size. 100%. You also know that they can see in the dark pretty well, and you know that they can use magic of some different types. Most of them have some innate magic.
Could I do, I guess, some sort of a check just to see how many other things I know? For
Yeah, do you want to make it I'd say nature or arcana check? Kind of fall under those.
Is it still within the hour from when we used spider climb earlier?
At this point, no. You're probably getting towards the end of that hour, given that you've been traveling for... Yeah, so Harry, your spider climb would have ended partway down the Dorcha chasm. Quite a distance beyond.
18.
18. Alrighty. Here's what you know of Duergar. As you think back and sort of go over what you've seen, you know that they can grow in size using magic. You know that they can use invisibility as well. You know that a lot of them can turn invisible. Yeah,
that's what I didn't want to metagame, but I'll bring up to everyone. Yeah, they have the ability to innately go invisible, similar to how we saw the Drow creating darkness. It's something that their race has just evolved over time to have. What we can see may not be all that's actually guarding them.
Interesting. So we got the Goliath guys next to us. I mean, they've led us down this way towards the area. We'll ask them, are there any other ways across this area that you know of, or is it just this one bridge in and out?
The Quaggoth with the large cut on its face turns towards its companions. There's a brief conversation in Undercommon. Does anyone speak Undercommon? I think we went over this last session.
No, we don't. Yeah,
cool. There's a brief conversation in this sort of guttural, very, very rough language that occasionally has words thrown in that you recognize. You hear the word bridge, tear, and flesh thrown in amongst this almost like incomprehensible series of guttural noises. One of them looks towards the rabbit and says bait as they look at Harry, and then a whole bunch of other words come out, and then the one with the cut on its face turns towards you.
Scouts have seen other pathways, but they are also patrolled, not just by Duergar. But this is easiest, quickest way. We kill, we slaughter, we tear, we bite, we feast.
And DM, what would be the distance? So we see the bridge, and beyond that we see the sort of
below you.
And beyond that, we see like the molten lava and the furnace city itself.
So at the moment, from where you are, you're kind of imagine the enormous chasm above you has slowly started to come down to a much narrower point. And then the area that you're now, it's not as wide as it is at the very top of the chasm. As you're sort of coming down, the wall only on one side goes down all the way to the ground. On the other side, the wall actually cuts out to become the roof of the cave and the cavern beyond. Below you, you can see a river of lava moving almost completely underneath the center of this chasm and moving with it, almost as if it was once, maybe it ate its way through, or hard to say. From where you are, looking down on that angle, you can see lower over the edge of where this bridge is. It looks like the lava drops away into a waterfall, or a lava fall, I should say. And beyond that, you can see the spires of stone rising up in the distance. The spires look very much like how you remember Tontanu. We're talking very, very far away. The only reason you can see these in the gloom of the Underdark is that there are lights all over.
Yeah, like
firelights glittering in the darkness like stars. Interestingly, it's all fire. You can see the glittering lights, or like stars, I would say, in the distance, outlining. And I would say, from this distance, could I get a perception check from everyone, please, to see how much of the city you can kind of make out from this distance?
And just to clarify on the explanation there, so it's like the city is below the lava.
Another layer down, yeah. So you're kind of looking on the diagonal down, which is how you're able to see it in the distance.
Bart sees vague shapes.
Your rolls aren't coming through Roll20. What did you get?
There,
I can see Harry, Ember, and Threign. I can't see Niles or Bart, sorry.
Harry forgot to put his glasses on, apparently, so...
I got a 2. I'll try to reset.
That's okay. Otherwise, what I might do is I might bring in the rolls from the campaign, which is not too hard to do either. I might even just do that regardless. 2 from Bart, 11 from Harry, 9 from Ember, 6 from Threign. I'll roll for Lyra, because at this point, I think we might need her roll. And
Niles?
And Niles rolled a... Niles hasn't rolled yet. I'll have to check.
Yeah, he's AFK.
That's okay.
You'll have to roll for him, yeah.
I'll roll for Niles as well. So let's do Lyra's first perception, +6, and let's do Niles. Lyra's got pretty good perception. She's got better perception than Niles, weirdly enough. That's an 18 for Lyra and an 8 for Niles. As Niles looks into the distance, Niles can't see much either. Interestingly enough, though, Lyra, who's sort of standing around, quite quiet at this point, looking out over the distance, having sort of, ever since you got down to this point, she's not really been paying attention to the Duergar below. She's more been focused on the city in the distance. And you watch as she kind of pauses for a second and goes, Is it just me, or does it look like they're... Can you guys can't see that, can you? I could swear that they're like excavating it. It looks like it's partly collapsed. Something happened to the city. It doesn't look like how I remember.
Actually, a brief thought for a second goes through my mind after Blindenstone, and you say it looks so like starry and illusion-y. Can I do an investigation check to make sure that the city isn't an illusion and it's not like some sort of false city to lead people in the wrong direction?
Yeah, make me an investigation check. It is pretty far away, though. The illusion's going to work over a great distance much easier.
17. Yeah, I'm wanting to make sure like it's not in a different direction, like directly in front of us, and we're just walking off of a lava waterfall for no reason.
Yeah, as you look over and begin examining the city in the distance, it's very hard to make out from this distance whether or not this is an illusion, right? Like, often the telltale signs you're looking for with illusion are details not making sense, you're looking for things passing through, you're looking for evidence that it's not fully there, that there's no physicality to it, shadows not quite lining up properly. You can't get any of those from this distance. You don't think, though, that an illusion of this size, if this is an illusion of an entire city, something immensely powerful is going to be powering that. Just to mislead people and lead them away, it'd be far more... You think in your mind, with an investigation, you're kind of using intelligence, right? You're thinking logically. You think it'd be far more logical if you're trying to disguise the location. If you had that much illusionary power, you'd want to disguise it as something else. Disguise it as a cave wall. That's going to be much easier to maintain than making a whole illusionary city over somewhere else. There's other ways that you can get around that.
Okay.
So you think it's unlikely, is what I would say. Any other questions? Yes.
What was the main thing Lyra had noticed about the city?
It looks like they're like excavating it. From here, it looks like part of it's collapsed. It looks like it's partly buried. The way they're sort of crawling all over it. Like the lights, right? I'm looking at the torches and the way they're kind of moving. And that sound, if you listen faintly, I can hear the sound of pickaxes echoing in the darkness.
It's Duergar, like ants.
Yeah,
Do you think maybe they had a fight with the stone giants?
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But then if they've had a fight with the stone giants, then like isn't that part of our problem dealt with? Like if the
I think so.
Duergar have been... Well, if the Duergar have won, then the stone giants have been wiped out. And that's problem... I mean, that's bad, but problem kind of solved?
Maybe... It doesn't make too much sense. If there's like rubble atop it, it means that they'd be excavating above on the ceiling of the cavern, right? That's the only way that rocks would fall on the top of the spire. It would have to come from above.
Yeah, that doesn't
ceiling.
make sense, does it?
Taking a look at the city and the edge of the waterfall as well, the main thing I was wanting to sort of gain from taking a look at it was distance.
How far away the city is?
Yeah.
Scale is what is throwing you off here. It is so far away and so big, it's hard to kind of judge distance. If this was a human-sized city, you would say that it's much, much closer. But you know that it's a giant city. The problem is, right, the only time you've seen this was when you were inhabiting a giant echo. And so proportional sizing is very hard to kind of guess on the fly. With your investigation check, as you look out at it, you're thinking hundreds, if not thousands of feet away to the edge of the city from here.
And you said echo, so is this the City of Teeth?
It looks... Lyra has already said it looks a lot like what you saw in the giant dream, but very damaged. Yeah.
What I was keeping an eye out for. Okay, that makes sense with the excavating then.
Yeah.
Thousands of feet. Let me just do a quick calculation.
You see if you can like divine sense this. It's a bit far away.
No. Clairvoyance works up to a mile away.
Yes, it does.
And I've got the potion. I'm wondering whether it's worth using.
Time to drink.
Yeah. I've been saving it for this occasion. And
basically, where is Obsidian Foot? Where's that fucker's foot?
yeah, well, the problem is it only works on a place, not a person, clairvoyance, or a location that I'm familiar with. So as much as I don't want to think about it, I'm probably going to think of the room, because it's the most vivid place that I'll remember, that I had my wings torn out, and see if he's there, see if there's anything of importance there. As far as I was aware, it sort of happened in like his office. I guess I'll turn to the group that gave me the potion. We've got the Korgoths breathing down our neck. We do still have the potion that Niles gave me when I first gained all of your trust, and offered to lead you all to here, to the Duergar. Clairvoyance. I could use it now, gain some sort of knowledge, insight, as it enables what hearing and sight at a location. There's a chance that I might be able to pinpoint the leader, Obsidian Foot, and maybe even, I don't know, listen in, find out what is happening, why they're excavating, give us some more intel, see if he's there. I don't know. This was the purpose for the potion. I'm just wondering what you all think before I go ahead and use something so valuable.
Oh, Dave, you're speaking, but I don't think we can hear you.
Oh no, Dave, it was working just before. It's currently trying to... Yeah, no, it's still using the right one. Oop.
He's going to refresh.
He's going to come back in. Look, I think it's a great idea. The more information we can get from that city before entering, I think it's invaluable.
There you go, Dave, you're back.
Harry, you looked like you were whispering something. Did you have thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I was just saying consumables look like they're made to be consumed, so I don't know, like if you think it might be there, but was it like a well-kept room, or was it a bit of a rebel? Because this looked like a bit of a rebel, to be honest.
From memory, it was a well-kept room. It was his main office. He had a desk there, his chair where he ordered all the other Duergar around from, enclosed personal space of his. But now that I'm looking at it, and Lyra, if you're on the same wavelength, this might be the City of Stone Teeth, or whatever the giants called it.
Tontanur, I think?
Tontanur.
It could be. It looks a lot
is...
like it. That's all I'm going to say. Like, from here, looking down into the chasm.
That begs the question of, when it comes to my time spent here, I know two locations, the mines and the office. There were other areas, but they were basically just the mines anyway, like where I slept and ate and whatnot, and met with some of the others like Noose and Gook and friends I made while I was there. But other than the office, those would be the two locations. But a third, and I'm thinking out of those two, obviously I'm not going to learn anything really important in the mines other than there's more slaves, and we already know that. We know there's people we can possibly get to our side. A third location, however, that may be useful is if this is the place we saw in the dreams, I can use clairvoyance on a place I'm familiar with. I could try using it where we saw that large creature rise out of, where the stone giants rubbed their hands across the ground.
The sphere, that town square, the circle we were at. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe that's not a bad idea.
Well, maybe if you give me a sec, I can ask Figment to see if he could. I mean, he'd have a pretty good memory.
Yes, he might be able to
see if he could overlay what we saw with the image there.
Do you like a cross?
See if it looks the same. Yeah,
I like that. If that can confirm more clearly if this is the place, I feel like that might be an option. I still feel like we could learn so much from just the leader, but I don't know. The town square just intrigues me. My curiosity is wondering if it's a better option.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Harry closes his eyes and he's like, Figment, Figgy, you there?
Harry, could you make me a spellcasting check as you try to call out to your patron?
A spellcasting check?
Do it as if it's like a spell attack. It's a d20 plus your It's your spellcasting modifier.
Plus 7. It's a 14.
14. Is yours coming across in roll 20, is it?
Yes, it is.
All good. Now we just need to find a way to make it come across in the D&D game log, because I'm now currently switching between the two rapidly. Harry, as you focus.
Should be on the log. Oh, it's not on the log.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all good. I might try. No, it's okay. We'll figure it out later. It's all good.
Yeah, just you can take my word for it. Otherwise, I would say a 20.
I take your word for it. 14. I can see it in roll 20. 14. As you focus, Harry, reach out. At first, you feel nothing. Just that comforting pulse from your heartstone. Almost like a second heartbeat now, but much more regular. That comes out whenever you focus on it. And then, suddenly, sound of static crackles for a moment, and Figment's voice emerges in your mind.
Harry, how can I help, Harry?
Hey, Harry. I'm Harry. Hey, Figment. I'm getting fused now. We're almost. It's almost like we're one person.
It would increase our efficiency by 223% if we were to become one entity.
It's true. I wouldn't have to like tip in and be like Figgy and see if you're there and like have a moment where I'm like, oh, maybe he's not there. Anyway,
one mind, one body.
One team, one dream. Harry looks at the city and focuses, and he's like, Figment, are you able to like overlay a video, like what we saw in the dream of the stone giant city, and see if this is likely to be the same place?
Yes, of course, Harry. I have complete control over the dreams and the echoes that you have experienced. Stand by. I will do this now for you.
Roger that. Standing by, mate.
As you hold out your hand, Harry, having spoken to Figment, you watch as the little holographic map that had been appearing above Harry's heartstone fades away. And a moment later, a 1 foot by 1 foot square illusionary light emerges from the heartstone, creating a perfect image, an overlay image. At first, it shows the city of Tontanur up close, exactly where you remembered standing, the very, very center. And then the image shifts and zooms out, the building shrinking down. As it gets further and further away, you watch as it begins to move and shift, trying to find the point where you are. But the edge of the images begin to blur and crackle, almost as if Figment is moving outside the bounds of what the memory has recorded. Harry, I'm going to need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please, to see if you're able to maintain the concentration and connection.
I am not wise.
You got a +4 from Aura being near me.
Okay, that's good because I rolled a 7, so 8 +4.
12.
Oh, +4, not a D4, just
not a D4,
yeah,
+4, so
+4,
flat 4.
Okay, 12.
12, Harry. As you concentrate, for a moment, the image glitches and begins to fall apart. You are just able to keep it, though, for a moment, as it shifts and locks on, and you see, perfectly lined up, just for a moment, the city of Tontanur, the illusionary version, and the one in the distance. And in this moment, the difference between the two is suddenly stark and obvious. There should be 30, 40 stalactites and stalagmites coming together, forming the vast columns of this city. You can only see 7 from where you are. The rest covered in stone and rock, shrouded in the darkness beyond.
Covered in, so isn't like they crumple down.
It looks like some cataclysmic event has occurred, some seismic event that buried the city.
I see.
We did see that in the vision, the final thing with the light shone down.
You see the city destroyed, but you did see the light and hear that tone, and watched as all the giants faded into the light, disappearing, leaving the city empty and devoid of
The fur at the back of Harry's neck prickles from the OCD satisfaction of it lining up perfectly. Thanks for that pigment. Okay, so definitely the same place.
Yes, Harry. This looks to be the remains of the city of Tontanur, the city of stone
Do you
teeth.
have any data on what might have happened?
Calculating. A seismic event, most likely a severe earthquake or volcanic eruption underneath the crust, has caused collapse of the surrounding caverns.
Explains the lava.
Knowing the area, what are the likelihoods of earthquakes in the area? Are we near the tectonic plates?
Earthquakes are very likely in this area, Harry. We are deep below the earth, near an enormous bed of lava. Shifts and changes positions.
Seems like a silly place to build a city, but you're right, good to know.
It was a source of constant power. The heat provided geothermal energy for the giants. It was the ideal location for a city to be built. And while the giants were there, they could control the flow of stone and rock with their magic. With the giants gone, however, I fear the worst for the city.
What do you think the chances are that they're moving the city somewhere else and they're pulling it apart to move the goods to somewhere that they've resettled?
It'd be difficult to move a city this large, Harry. Maybe they always
Maybe they have
just
a new base of operations and they're just moving all the good stuff that's still salvageable.
Well, depending on when the last eruption was, maybe, but they could just be in a constant state of repair for a city this large.
I mean, the giants are back now, so maybe they just said, "Oh, maybe could do just a clean slate."
Well, if the giants are back now, fuck me.
I would say at this point, you know the giants are back now.
If the giants are back now, Harry, then yes, that is perfectly reasonable for why the Duergar are working with them, trying to heal the wounds of their city so they don't have to move.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. If you think they're doing it the same place, back in the Webbits Warrens, we'd just pack up shop and rebuild somewhere else.
No, the Duergar are a lot more stubborn than that.
Stone giants too, Harry. I find it unlikely, based on my calculations and knowledge of the stone giants, that they would be keen to move. It is far more likely they are trying to reclaim their old home.
Yeah, okay, then makes sense. Yeah.
Given you guys are discussing this, I'd say Harry's patron Figment would actually share this out loud. You hear that voice emanating from Harry's Hearthstone as his patron speaks to all of you.
Okay, well, the town square is useful in the situation that a lot of the workers are going to be traveling through it. Some of the stone giants might even be there, considering the important monuments we saw in the town center. But we should get a good idea of numbers of forces, armaments they're wearing at a closer inspection, hearing possible idle chatter between some of the guards there. I feel like we may learn more information about the majority of the forces we're about to face. Whereas the office, if he's in, that's the risk, he may not be in there. If he is in that office, Obsidian Foot, there could be extremely vital information, albeit small. That's what I'm weighing up, I feel like. What do you guys think? It's a big decision.
Is it, I mean, how high up above everything are we at the moment, Owen?
So you're 200 feet above the middle bridge. You're probably another 200 feet on the diagonal, looking down towards the remains of Tontanur, the city of teeth, the stone giant city. And then that's also hundreds of feet away in the diagonal as well. But yeah, 200 feet above the middle bridge with the Duergar down underneath you.
Okay. I mean, if we wanted to, we could just go out and fly out a little bit just to see if he can see anything that's worthwhile in that area at the moment. But otherwise, I think you're more than welcome to use it. Any kind of information to me seems worthwhile. And I mean, I want to get the gnomes out of here. So the more info we can get to try and help them, the better.
Ember, That didn't help me in the slightest. I said Witcher Witch, and you said both are great.
To be fair, though, that's not an incorrect answer. But genuinely, the reason you're struggling with this is because both options are good options.
Yeah,
both will give you useful information, and you miss out on useful information. With the other.
I feel like it's a risk sending Flicker off. We have the element
Flicker
of surprise at the moment, and it's still thousands of feet before we even reach the edge of the waterfall. It would take him a couple of minutes to reach there, I feel like. Fuck it. Harry, you're the lucky one, the rabbit's foot. You want to flick a coin? 1 Obsidian Foot, 2 the town square.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Do D4 if you wanted, or D6, whatever you want. Odds and evens. Say evens is heads.
What do you want on heads, which is the evens?
We'll do what we said. So evens is 2, so evens will be the town square.
It is odd.
Obsidian Foot. Okay. I'll pop out from the backpack the potion of clairvoyance. Our rare potion with an eyeball bobbing in some yellow liquid, and very disgustingly, I guess not so much for a bird really, a swallow potion and eyeball hole, drinking that down.
Good luck.
As you drink down, the potion is strangely oily, the eyeball slipping straight between your beak down your gullet in a moment. As the oil coats your throat, this soft warmth begins to build, and as it builds up around your neck, you sort of go to cough, and as you close your eyes, you find your eyes opening elsewhere. So, you are using the potion of clairvoyance to look upon a location you are intimately familiar with. There's no beating around the bush on this. You know this location very, very well. It's within a
1 mile range.
So you are within range. You are within range of this. Absolutely. Choose hearing or seeing. What would you like first?
So at first, I'm just going to start with seeing. I want to make sure there's stuff worth listening to, basically.
Perfect. As you start with seeing, the office has changed quite a bit since you were last there, Bartholomew. The rack that you had been strapped to has been removed. The desk has been swapped out for a series of stone plinths. The room itself is full of chests, overflowing with gemstones, gold ingots. Sitting, at the moment, facing you, leaning back against a chair, large obsidian foot on the stone desk. You see the Duergar who tore your wings from your back. His beard is braided intricately, white hair tied back. You can see dark rings under his eyes as if he hasn't slept for some time. Dressed in his armor, but the under armor only. Layered leather, shadowed. Behind him, the metal armor sits on a rack, the armor you remember. He's currently holding a coin, dark black and red, marked with what almost looks like a face, screaming. And as he flicks it between his fingers, you can see his mouth moving as he says something.
I'm going to instantly switch to hearing.
As you switch to hearing, do you speak Infernal, Bartholomew?
No, Draconic Elvish Giant.
You hear, Yes, Giakumv, yes, Giakumv, Argosk, Argosk, yes, Giakumv.
As the voice repeats these words, you watch as oh no, you can't hear anything anymore. what you hear is you hear the sounds of flames for a moment. Thing is, you can switch really quickly and easily between. So in this instance, if you want to switch, I'm going to give you both because it's to be honest, the hearing and seeing requirement of clairvoyance is such fucking bullshit anyway. I'm going to give you
I agree.
It's such bullshit. And what I'm going to say is with the Hearthstone connection, Harry, Ember, Lyra, Threign, and Niles, if Bart allows, he can share this with you basically, because all of you are connected via the Hearthstones anyway. It's almost like you've got, I mean, you could even also be just minor illusioning this Bart or something like that. Like there's a lot of good reasons why they'd be able to see through your eyes for this one.
I'll hold hands with Harry, and then Harry
shares a true figment.
Yeah.
That's a really good call. As Obsidian Foot finishes this incantation, for an incantation it clearly is, you watch as the coin between his fingers blazes with fire for a moment. He drops it instantly, the coin bouncing off the desk and rolling towards your sensor, Bart, rolling towards where your vision, your point of view is. As it rolls, it suddenly stops spinning on its side for a moment before dropping down. The screaming face down, a pentagram inscribed with infernal runes above. And you watch as fire begins shooting out of the coin, forming a sigil burned in flames across the stone floor. The ground underneath turns inky black for a moment, and a figure rises from the flames and dark. Large red bat-like wings, folded around a humanoid shape, and as the wings pull back, the dark shadows fall away from its face, and you see a man. The wings disappearing as the shadows form around, as a rather handsome human man stands there, dressed in elegant clothes. He bends down and picks up the coin as he looks at it. His skin is tanned. He looks to be in his maybe late 40s, early 50s, a hint of grey across his short hair that's swept back. His kind brown eyes examine the coin for a moment and then flick up and look right towards you. And then he turns and looks towards Obsidian Foot, making no obvious recognition that he has just seen your sensor. You think maybe just a coincidence. Ah, Obsidian Foot. I am not some dog you can whistle and call at your command. What do you want? Terms of our agreement are set. You have nothing further, I wish. In fact, you are still yet to repay me.
Listen here, you devil. It's not what you promised.
But it is what we agreed to. You signed the contract. You made the bargain.
I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. What are the giants? For a moment, it slipped. They saw me. The real me. They knew it was me.
Come now. Are you telling me the magic I've provided you is inferior? That was not part of our arrangement.
Look, these bloody stones, they don't work for me, alright? I can force it to do what I want most of the time, but my control is slipping. The thing inside it, it's beginning to suspect I'm not supposed to have this. I think it knows.
So you need the leash tightened, then. I suppose I can comply. But it's going to cost you.
Cost me what? You've already got my soul, devil.
Oh, please, let's not be so maudlin. How about a favor?
I'm not writing you a blank check.
Oh no, nothing like that. I know you wouldn't be so gullible as to offer anything I desire. No.
I simply require souls. Not your prisoners. No, I want your warriors. Maybe 10, 12 of your strongest. The blood war, tide of battle is turning, and I could use fresh meat on the front line. I've got quotas to meet after all. Yes, 12 of your finest warriors should do. You want me to what? Promise their souls to you? No, nothing like that. You'll need to kill them. In here, I'll leave a ritual circle behind. Just over here.
Oh.
Yeah, but...
Before this conversation comes to a close and while the sigil's still on the ground, can I do a religion check? Funny enough, out of everything so far, I'm most interested in the sigil that burned into the cobblestone. I want to see if it belongs to a particular devil prince.
Good question. Could you make me a religion check, please? You don't speak Infernal, so it is going to be a little bit
19.
harder. 19's not bad. As you look over the sigil, I mean, clearly this is a devil. There's a couple of the layers of hell that this creature could be from. I'm more than happy to reveal, Bart, looking at this creature, you think this is a Cambion, most likely, given his appearance, the bat-like wings. This is a disguise he is wearing. This human form he's taken on. You think this is probably a Cambion. If he's talking about the Blood War and the front lines is Avernus, which means that he is most likely from or on Avernus currently. If that's the case, he could be working for Tiamat, he could be working for Zariel. It's hard to say. They're the two major factors that control the devils in Avernus at this point in time.
Okay.
I have a question. Sorry, I didn't AFK for half
That's
an
okay.
hour. This is wild.
Yeah, Bart's using his potion of clairvoyance to see into Obsidian Foot's office.
Yep. No, that's fine. I recall that happening. That's all good. I do have just a general question, just a lore question, really. How does like Avernus or Plains of Hell work?
Very good question. I was about to launch into that. So, there are
obviously within the realm of like us.
Yes, they are.
Right?
I haven't changed the layers of hell too much, partly because they're perfect as they are, to be perfectly honest. The 9 layers of hell in the D&D setting are so perfect already. 7 or 9? 7.
7, I think.
7. Yeah, because it matches the sins. Yeah. Sorry.
It does. Yeah.
9 hells of Batul? No.
What was that? Sorry. Sorry?
Oh, no. I literally, because I know nothing about the D&D background.
I believe it is 7.
Oh, yeah, I was just reading. Avernus was the first layer of the 9 hells of Batul.
9 hells. It is 9. I thought it was. There you go. That's so
yeah.
fun. I did think it was 9.
I was actually thinking, no, it's 9, and everyone's like, it's 7, and I was like,
so there are 9
maybe
layers
I'm
to
wrong.
hell, each controlled by devils or demons. Devils and demons are mortal enemies. Devils are lawful evil. Demons are chaotic evil, and they embody those almost exactly. So demons are raving monsters that are almost impossible to reason with. They are monstrous in appearance, monstrous in appetite, and they are horrific creatures that you do not want to be in, around, or near. With devils are far more cunning. If you have a warlock who's formed a bargain, it's most likely with a devil in exchange for power. Devils don't multiply in the way that demons do. Devils send human souls, mortal souls, to fight on the front lines of the blood by forming pacts with them, by forming deals, and in some cases transforming them into soul coins, compressing their soul down into a physical object that they can use for a multitude of different things. In this instance, Cambions clearly are devils. The layers of hell are Avernus, Dis, Minoris, Philagethos, Stygia, Malbolg, Maladamini, Cania, and Nessus. And they are arranged basically in order of danger, which is quite funny because Avernus is a very, very dangerous place. It's the top layer of hell.
Wow.
Avernus is the front line of the Blood War. It's where devils and demons are basically duking it out. There are currently 2 lords of Avernus for the devil's side, Zariel and Tiamat. Tiamat being the Queen of Dragons, who was banished back to Avernus at the end of our Tyranny of Dragons campaign. She is the queen of was the queen of the Devil Hordes. The reason she was so desperate to escape to Nostea is that she is currently losing a war against a fallen angel called Zariel. Zariel was originally sent down to Avernus to smite demons and devils. She ended up being corrupted and fell to the temptations of Avernus and has now become a devil lord in her own right, one of the devil leaders. So this is all from the Descent into Avernus campaign. There's no reason for me to change this significantly in our campaign because it's so good, and it's all multiversal anyway. So it's like Barovia and Curse of Strahd.
From what I can see with clairvoyance, I can still technically speak. It's sort of like almost walking.
It just senses. You're picking which one you want to hear through. So you could be.
I know
describing this too.
Bonding with Harry at the moment, everyone's seeing this, and I know other people have keener eyes than me. I'm going to ask the group if anyone can see any memorabilia with my religion check, earrings, tattoos, jewelry, stuff on the human's clothing that resembles a dragon at all. That way we'll know straight away if it's either Zariel or Tiamat.
Because you're currently linked with Harry, and Harry's sharing this mental image with all of you can have a look. I'd say religion or investigation check or perception. I'd allow perception too, depending on what you roll. I'll give you different information.
I will definitely roll perception too.
Yep, I'm a perception boy.
11 from
Darn it,
Bartholomew.
I'm rolling so bad.
9 from Ember. Ember's just using his basic black dice. Let's get you some dice skins, Ember.
There we go.
Can Lyra have
Thank God
advantage
you're back,
given her
man.
history? Lyra's history doesn't have a huge amount to do with the devils or demons. Her history is a lot more around the Fae. It won't be a advantage situation, but I will give her. I won't do Arcana for her. I'll do Perception for her as well. We'll take into account that she does have some knowledge of Tiamat. Alrighty. That is a natural 1 from Lyra. That is a 7. Don't worry, she does not know. She knows the cult of Tiamat, but they're more focused on the draconic side for her role as the Queen of Dragons, not as the Queen of Hells, the Queen of Avernus, because that was her. She was banished to Avernus with the other betrayer gods who were banished the other layers of the Hells.
Yeah, like I'm worried that there's going to be some sort of just infernal symbol of like some white guy having an Asian tattoo, but it's just infernal for like dragon. And we don't read infernal, so we don't know. So that's why I'm asking everyone to look for any sort of sign.
So 11 from Bartholomew, 9 from Ember, 22 from Niles, and 13 from Threign. Threign, everyone but Niles. No clear markings on this figure at all, which makes sense. This figure has disguised themselves, taken on a visage of something else or someone else. They're not going to just be advertising their loyalties or allegiance that easily, right? Mm-hmm. Niles, as you look upon the figure and examine them, the clothing, the tunic that this figure is wearing, actually, it's more of a, is it a I'm trying to remember the name of like a puffy closed robe. It's got a name, but I can't remember what it is. I know, right? He's got one of those on. You can see tiny devil faces are the patterns repeated over, and the buttons are also tiny devil faces as well. Like this Cambion is taking the fucking piss with this outfit. He is having a laugh. As you look over the rest of his outfit, you can see that he's got all sorts of symbology. There's a pentagram on the collar at the back, right in the very center of the collar at the back. You can see that he's also painted his pinky nail with a little pentagram as well. He's absolutely taking the fucking piss. He's having fun with this. And that's the other thing you notice as well, Niles. As you're looking through this figure is playing Obsidian. Absolutely. He already knew what he was coming in to ask, and he's made this conversation. He's changed the direction of his conversation very much in his favor and made it look like Obsidian's idea. It was all Obsidian's idea to do this, that Obsidian needed the help. This is absolutely a devil you do not want to be trying to mess with. This is a master player. With a 22, there is no symbology of Zariel or Tiamat. No symbol of a sword, no symbol of a draconic head or 5-pointed star. Sometimes that's used as a symbol of Tiamat, a 5-pointed star with different colors on it. That's often used for the 5 chromatic colors. What you do notice, though, as you look across, a strange patch of ice blue on the scarf around the neck. It's such a particular color that it kind of strikes you for a second. You're not really sure what it could be related to. And then you remember the devil Mephistopheles is sometimes called the Cold Lord. Just that knowledge just comes out of nowhere.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah. That sudden, almost like this ice white blue scarf that clashes with a lot of the reds and the oranges of the rest of the outfit. It seems too deliberate to not be.
Yeah, like a very overly infernal, but it's too much. Okay.
But this is a devil hiding clues as to who he is all over this disguise. He's playing a game. Now, whether or not he actually is a servant of Mephistopheles, it's hard to say, but he wants people to see this and think he is, for sure.
Okay.
Your passive insight's pretty high.
Yeah, it is.
The rest of you notice the blue scarf and oh yeah, cool, blue scarf. Quite nice, actually. Ember, you look and go, be better if it was red or orange or yellow, even. Better colors.
Are we in some sort of trance at the moment, or am I able to freely?
No, you can freely speak. You can freely speak.
That devil seems. Oh, I don't want to cross him in court. That's for sure. He's a professional. He has Obsidian Foot wrapped around his finger. Do you notice the scarf there? They're very deliberate.
It's a nice blue.
It is. There's something come to my mind just now. Mephistopheles, one of the devils of hell. I think he was associated with blue. The Cold Lord, Cold Prince, something along those lines. Whether or not he has any association with him remains to be seen, but he's giving a lot and not much at the same time. But he would have dealt with people like this before in court. He's not one to be trifled with, that's for sure.
The sensor technical will last for 10 minutes, so I've got a time to look at the room when I want to.
There's still more you guys see. I only cut off because to discuss what you were seeing. But yeah, 10 minutes is a decent chunk of time. This conversation so far has only gone for 2-3 minutes. So
I do want to briefly look past Obsidian at his armor hanging on the wall and just focus on it for a second and see if there's any glint of runes or enchantment. See if he's got magical gear.
No hint of runes or enchantment, Bart, as you stare at it, because something else catches your eye almost immediately. The armor has these white feathers mounted on its back.
What?
And as you look closer, you can see that Obsidian Foot has taken your wings and has mounted them onto the back of his armor.
Oh, fuck this guy. What the fuck?
Sometimes it's nice to just make an irredeemably evil person. I don't do a lot of those characters in D&D, so it's nice to do one for once. I think I had 3 irredeemably evil people during the whole... Oh, maybe more than that in the Tyranny of Dragons, but we never got to enjoy how irredeemably shit they were. Really enjoying this.
I'll probably start squeezing Harry's hand like some sort of mother giving birth.
Your fingers break, Harry, instantly. No.
Is this my metal hand, or this would be my
metal hand? So you're fine because it's got to be the Heartstone, so you're all good. Never mind. Bart's fingers break.
I never imagined he would stoop to this level. What? This foul being? How could he do this?
It was me and a friend who were both brought in here. We both tried to escape together. My friend died. I made it out. Stuff I just, haven't quite gone through fully yet, to be honest.
Oh, no.
Things I'd prefer not to remember, to be frank. Okay, I'll try to focus back in on the conversation.
As you focus back into the conversation, you can see there's been a little bit of back and forth between the Cambion and Obsidian Foot about killing 12 of Obsidian Foot's men. Obsidian Foot has tried to bargain. Please, why can't I put forward some of the slaves? Some of them must be warriors. There are some drow we've captured. We could use them. I don't want drow. I want your fighters. They've been exposed to a very particular type of environment, one in which I think they will excel on the front lines of the Blood War. It's only 12 of your men. The value you've received in exchange. Come now. Obsidian, may I call you Obsidian? No. Mr. Foot, then. You have a unique opportunity here. Everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever dreamed, palm of your hand. Are you really telling me you squeeze just this once to get what you want? Just going to let it loose, let it fly away. You're not that weak, surely. Damn you. Damn you to the hells. Somebody beat you to that, I'm afraid. But we can make sure I'm not alone. 12 of your men, or women. 12 of your finest warriors, Mr. Foot. Fine. 12 of them. I'll need them by, shall we say tomorrow? You want me to kill 12 of my people by tomorrow? Oh, it won't be hard. One by one, call them in. Tell them they're getting a small promotion. Sending them to a much more worthy cause for their skills. They'll come. Like lambs to the slaughter. You'll dispatch them downstairs to me. Won't you, Mr. Foot? Should have never agreed to this. I'll get you, you damn fucking frontliners. Good. Good. Well, with that case, I best be... Wait! You promised. You swore you'd tighten the link. Make sure these damn giants see me for what they... See what they're supposed to see, do what they're supposed to do. Here's the thing, Mr. Foot. There is no leash that can be tightened. What you've been playing with is fire, and eventually, you always get burned. I can hold off that day for a little longer. Shall we say 12 more days? 1 for each person you're sending me. And if you need more days, well, you know what to do. Ta-ta. And you watch as the devil clicks his fingers and immediately sinks back into the fire as it burns around him. As he's disappearing below, he flicks the soul coin back towards Obsidian Foot, catches it out of the air, and immediately drops it, having burned his hand. You watch as the Cambion, oh dear, as he disappears below the flames, vanishing from view. As he does so, the fire burns away, leaving charred scorch marks into the ground beneath.
Can I quickly...
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt the amazing introduction when you first brought us into the vision.
There's actually one more thing that happens too before he disappears fully. But yes, let's do that first, and then I'll do his final thing. There's one more thing he doesn't...
The arrival was fucking amazing. I wanted Bart to remember the incantation that Obsidian Foot spoke. Even though it was an infernal and I couldn't understand what he was saying, I wanted to try to...
Could I get a flat intelligence check, please, Bart?
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
I've had intelligence checks all night, and I've got a +1 to it, but I've been rolling really good.
Sorry.
Can Figment record this?
Figment could ostensibly have recorded this. However, I don't think you had been sharing it when that happened, unfortunately.
It was
but Figment
when
can
the
record the second half at 6, but you've got part of the incantation. You think it doesn't seem that hard. You just repeated a couple of words over and over. You reckon you can do it? It can't be that hard.
Oh dear.
Summoning a demon.
Wow, Devil. You might summon a demon with your version.
What
Honestly,
could go wrong?
I'll watch focus back to the rest of it as that thought comes and goes.
As the Cambion disappears, you watch as he again, right as he sort of as he flicks the soul coin and Obsidian Foot catches it and drops it, Obsidian Foot looks down, breaking eye contact with the Cambion as he burns his hand and looks down at the soul coin. The second Obsidian Foot has turned away, the Cambion's eyes immediately flick up towards you, looking you dead in the eyes. And he winks and smiles and then disappears into the flames.
Yeah, makes sense that he has true sight.
Yeah.
Annoying little bastard. I want to keep watching. I want to stay focused because I feel like Obsidian Foot's either about to give some false instructions to some kin that could be useful, or he's about to rage to himself and I can watch him have a tantrum, which is also equally rewarding.
You watch as Obsidian Foot looks at his hand, the back of the coin, the sigil, burned in miniature on his flesh.
Is it
the one that summons the Cambion?
Is it the screaming face or the pentagram?
The pentagram, not the screaming face.
Okay.
The pentagram seared into his hand as he swears in Dwarvish.
Scorked! Fucking devils. Should never made that fucking pact.
You watch as he runs over towards the door, smashes into it and kicks it, pulling it inwards. As he pulls the door inwards, Bart, you see a head has been nailed to the door. A severed head.
Whoa.
Small, grey-skinned and bald with pointed ears. It's a deep gnome. The head nailed, into the door. And you watch as Obsidian Foot screams out into the room beyond.
Get me a fucking dwarf here now!
As he slams the door shut, you hear the head repeating in a tiny squeaky voice.
Get me a fucking dwarf here now! Get me a fucking dwarf here now!
As he repeats again and again and again. A moment later, the door opens once more. You see 2 Duergar dragging a hill dwarf between them. As they throw the hill dwarf onto the ground in front of Obsidian Foot, you watch as Obsidian Foot turns towards the dwarf, pausing for a moment, and then bringing up his stone crystal foot and slamming it down into the face of the hill dwarf again and again and again, kicking it to death. This innocent poor hill dwarf who's been dragged here basically in chains. You watch as Obsidian Foot kicks it to death. And that is where the 10 minutes finishes up as you watch this guy.
God, it's so evil. What the fuck?
As I said, I haven't made any really irredeemable characters for a hot minute. It's refreshing to do so.
Love it.
Hey, the instructions that I got from Bart about his experience with Obsidian Foot made it very clear that this person has no redeeming features. There is nothing good about this person.
This is exactly what I had envisioned.
The person who cuts cuts the wings off an Owlin. This is a bad person. This is a fucked person. This person's trading in slaves. There's nothing redeemable here. He opens up a small locket of his family, kisses them, and then beats the dwarf to death with his foot.
I finally wrote what happened on that day as well. So there's a dead NPC that might introduce soon.
But the head that was nailed to that door.
Also, no, the idea for this, just briefly, was a dragonborn friend who tried to help me escape, and I had my wings torn off. He had his scales plucked off one by one. I thought that. Look, can I?
As you come out of that vision, Lyra turns around and throws up, just vomits over the edge into the lava lake below.
So, I've still technically, I'm guessing, got maybe like 4 minutes left. I'm wanting to investigate the room a little bit, but I did want to.
So the rest of the conversation, you guys having a chat, and then the time it takes for the. I mean, you can when he screams out, "Get me a fucking dwarf!" You've got probably 2 minutes before the guards come with a hill dwarf for him. So yeah, if there's anything else in the room you want to look for, we can do it during that period.
I wanted to try one thing first because I'm not sure if I'm going to get a chance to really use it other than now. As an action, you can detect good and evil until the end of your turn, and you can sense any creature. It doesn't specify if it's from me or not. Would my divine sense work?
It specifies from you because it's not through vision. It's because it's like a sense emanating outwards from you.
Yeah. I thought I'd try.
Worth a try.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to just quickly shout at everyone to look around the room for anything they think is important. I know that Harry's recording this, and we can obviously rewind the tape. But main thing Bart is looking for is keys. He looked for them on the Myconid with the Duergar in the hopes of freeing other slaves, and now that possibility is really here, he wants to know where Obsidian Foot keeps his main master keys.
Harry.
Harry would like to ask if there are any windows.
Harry, no windows in this room. It's very much 4 stone walls and a wooden door. You notice now, padded to muffle sound. What was your other question?
I was trying to say if there are any clues as where in the city this specific room is.
It's definitely dwarf-sized. So it's probably not in the city of Tontanur itself. It's probably somewhere near the outskirts. Or if the Duergar have colonized the city, then it's a room that's been remade into one suitable for the Duergar. The Cambion even had to stoop slightly as he emerged. The roof is only 5.5, 6
Is there any objects that stand out as pretty unique if we ever wanted to do locate object on?
The armor for sure is going to be one of the easiest things for you to identify. It's very specific armor. I would also say his foot also is pretty, essentially, we've kind of skipped over this a little bit because we've had a description of him before, but I want you to imagine this dwarf from the middle of his shin downwards has been replaced with dark purple obsidian crystal, a foot carved out of the crystal.
I thought it was like a Warhammer that just had the name, bro. That's even...
No.
grosser.
No. He's called Obsidian Foot. One of his legs has been replaced with an obsidian prosthetic.
That makes sense.
I love it. Fuck.
Out of curiosity, obsidian is a relatively rare material, correct?
Volcanic glass, often found around areas of high heat and high pressure.
Yep.
Or near an underground lake of fire. Potentially.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? So he's got a full from the shin down replaced with obsidian. It's partially transparent. Someone's carved little toes into it and everything. It's like a bare foot.
Wow.
You would say his foot could be worth a fair bit of money?
Oh, Harry. Fuck yes,
more
Harry.
Than fine with you carving off his leg.
That left foot is going to be worth tasty bit of gold. In fact, you reckon we're not talking gold, Harry. To the right buyer, we're talking platinum.
Ooh.
Big old hefty bag of platinum.
And it would fit in the bag of holding.
Oh yeah, it's a foot. It's a dwarf foot.
It's a tiny foot of that, yeah.
Harry's on his target.
Is there anything Niles and Ember are looking out for?
Yeah. I mean, what am I looking for? I'm probably, when the door is opened for that sort of brief period of time, I'm trying to peek beyond, and I'm also seeing if I can hear any audio or any sounds that are coming through at that point in time.
Niles, as the door opens into the corridor, as you peer down it, you can see what looks like a fairly narrow stone corridor with other doors leading off to the left and right. At the far end of the corridor, you catch a glimpse of an open cavern through 2 doors. Standing in front of the doors, guarding Obsidian Foot's chamber, are 2 Duergar with long pikes. And at the far end, at the exit to the entire building, very, very far, probably like 80, 90 feet away from Obsidian Foot's office, you can see 2 more Duergar guards standing to attention. Could you make me a perception check?
Absolutely.
Together with his heart of gold, Harry is slowly assembling a person. Yeah, once he's got the heart of gold and the foot of obsidian, Harry's only got, 80 other body parts to go of different materials, and he can assemble.
Oh no, you're assuming that he
started
the story with without any of the stuff.
What would be your next item that you'd go after? Silver tongue? Silver tongue.
I already have a glowing tiger eye.
Oh yeah, I would count that. Good call.
You have one of those.
You've got a metal hand, although it is attached to the body.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna build. We're gonna build another robot.
Fair enough. You're gonna build Figment a body.
Yes.
Whoa.
I think I've just given Harry his new side quest. He watches it in Harry's journal, a new entry, a personal quest just opens up.
To be honest,
this will be Harry will end up in the android body and Figment ends up in Harry's body. Who knows?
A Warforged built with parts that you've collected over the course of a campaign would be kind of fucking sick.
And that's your next character for Twilight of the Gods.
Yes.
This will be the most expensive Warforged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to
sure.
be fair, I reckon Lockie would be pretty expensive considering his.
Lockie's one of a kind. The clockwork that's
exactly.
being used to make Lockie is almost impossible to
Yeah.
The care and attention to detail to hand make a clockwork Warforged like Lockie is insane.
Yeah.
All of his cognition, everything's happening through clockwork. It's just nuts. We didn't go into huge detail with how his core functions, but it's also a compressed clockwork space. And so inside Lockie is essentially an enormous series of clockwork that's been compressed down into this tiny core. And that's what's allowing him to think and to cognate to everything. It's all clockwork.
Wow.
It's basically billions of gears all turning, creating these artificial neurons. And So, Niles, your perception was 14.
Only 14.
Only 14. As you were staring down that corridor, as Obsidian Foot went to slam the door shut, you saw a face emerge from one of the other doorways partway down. At first, it looked like a dwarven face, but it bared a bit of a resemblance to a creature you had seen fairly recently. Grey skin, much more pointy ears, much more lithe than a Duergar. You're pretty sure it looked a bit like the Darrow, the creature that you encountered with Bartholomew when you first met him.
Right.
Poking its head out from a side antechamber when Obsidian Foot screamed down the corridor.
Interesting.
We do know that he's got bugbears, Darrows, and other slave-like things working for him. We know actually that he's got more of those than he does Duergar.
Right.
Which might be why he was a bit reticent to give up 12 of his Duergar warriors, because his control over this situation potentially compromised every time he sacrifices one of his soldiers. Almost like that's the Cambion's plan.
So just out of, because I was away for a bit there, do we know specifically what Obsidian Foot is really doing with this?
You guys aren't 100%
or is it very
sure.
vague?
You have some theories. You've kind of gone back and forth over a couple of different theories. Lyra's most recent theory was that he was somehow controlling the giants through fear because of that broken heartstone Ember found.
Yeah.
Her theory was maybe it was doing something with that. I believe, Threign, you had also had a theory about him maybe tricking them somehow or something like that. So there's been a few theories kind of thrown around as to why the giants would work with the Duergar. And at this point, I think it sounds like most of you are kind of leaning towards it being somewhat of a deception situation. They don't know, they're not knowingly or willingly working with Obsidian Foot. There's something else causing that to happen.
Yeah.
Some other X factor.
Yeah.
And it would seem his conversation with the Cambion may have somewhat confirmed that a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing I'll point out that you did not notice, you haven't asked about it, but this is an absence that you absolutely notice as you consider for a moment. He did not have a heartstone.
Yeah, when he said the stone,
he did not have one implanted into him.
But he did mention specifically the stone doesn't work.
He did mention the stone's not working, yeah.
Right.
But he doesn't seem to have one implanted into him. Which is interesting. Or at least not in his hands. Because you could see his hands during that conversation as he reached up and grabbed the soul coin.
Do all of us have them in our hands?
Do all of you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it always in the same place for all of us?
It's your non-dominant hand. So whatever your dominant hand is, for some reason, it has identified that and gone to the non-dominant.
And that's been consistent with everyone that we've met that has a stone, right?
Yes, it's always on the back of the hand and always on the non-dominant hand.
Even NPCs, yeah?
Yes, yeah. So you encountered...
Well, except for the bit here, because it was in 10.
Yeah, that was quite a different appearance. That didn't look like
That's
the Heartstones you've got.
It was more like a spike.
It's
Yeah,
more,
much more-
like a control
much more
mechanism.
like a spike.
Yeah.
Do you know
With-
the inspiration for that? You know the Inquisitor spikes from Mistborn, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll keep darting around, switching between sight and hearing. As I guess Ember, is there something that Fireman's looking out for in the Fire City?
Yeah. Well, look, actually, just considering we're in the room there, I'd be trying to see if there's anything that matches maybe like the stonework or what have you that the plinth was made out of in the gnome, the treasury where I found the stone buried inside.
Ember,
Yeah, good.
that stone desk in the center of his room that he was set up, almost an exact match for the plinth. Perfect. The 3 stone plinths that are together forming his desk, they are identical in size, form, and function.
Wow.
Appearance
So
and
it's
architecture to the one that was inside Blindenstone.
If he's suspecting it's coming from here and he's got something to do with that. Okay. And then in terms of the room, we said that obviously no windows or anything like that.
No windows, yeah.
In terms of the construction, I mean, I don't know if it's a survival check or anything, but how old or new the area looks and see if it's made with, the dwarves' end of the day, if it actually looks like it's been made by a giant creature as opposed to...
So you want to see if it's been adapted from existing giant architecture or made brand new from dwarven architecture.
Trying to narrow down roughly where it might be in the city based off what the structure looks like.
Yeah, I'd say survival, I'd say history, I'd say investigation. They can all kind of fall under that. I'll give you different information depending on which one you pick.
Oh my god, I'm doing terrible. 8.
8.
Oof.
Hard to say, Ember. As you look over it, the room itself clearly wasn't built in this exact form by giants. It's only 6 feet tall. The ceiling is not tall enough for it to have been... Well, look, sorry, it could have been constructed by giants, but if it was, the purpose of it is somewhat confusing to you. Why they would make a room they can't get in or out of. It's hard to say whether this is dwarven make or giant make. I mean, your attention was very much drawn to the literal devil in the middle of the room, monologuing to himself as he basically... You watched him just tie up Obsidian Foot into a contract that just fucks him over. I mean, it's hard not to look and enjoy the and you've never seen infernal fire before. I'd say for you, Ember, the flames aren't all red. There's this almost like an after image of dark purple and grey behind the flames of Avernus. It is both beautiful and a bit disgusting to look at.
Infernal fire, like the one different type of fire in D&D, like the one unique one.
The only unique fire is infernal fire.
And I don't know if
Ember.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just said last thing I was going to do is, I mean, depending on how it works with the clairvoyance, am I able to cast spells like detect magic to see if there's anything else in the room there that might
through the through the sensor, unfortunately. So essentially, what the spell has done is create a little orb, an invisible orb that you can see and hear through, depending on what you pick.
Cool.
Where I am making it very clear now, the fact that you have to choose between one or the other is bullshit. I am more than happy to overrule that and say you can see and hear through it at all times, because otherwise the spell, it's like I switch between, and you just every 6 seconds you just switch between, and that's just annoying for everybody. You can see and hear through it.
Really annoying for the dungeon master to have to remember what state you're in of perception.
That's silly.
It's just dumb because it takes you out of amazingly cool roleplay potential for you to be like, all right, 6 seconds have come. Do you want to switch? What do you want to have? Hearing or vision? It's just dumb. I wonder if they fix that up in the new spells. Probably not. Ember, you would know from clairvoyance, given that you're a druid, you're trained in magic and druidic magic. I'm pretty sure clairvoyance is on the druid spell list. No, it's not. No. Bard, cleric, sorcerer, wizard.
Oh, there you go.
That's so funny. I would have thought for sure druids would get that one. Never mind. I would say that you know the vague workings of this spell. While that is invisible, things that can see invisible things can also see the senses. So if you're looking out from this and listening through it, If anything can see invisibility, it can see that. It doesn't necessarily know it's you, but what it sees is this orb hovering in place. 30 centimeter diameter, glowing orb of light. Let's even put like an eye in the middle of it just for fun.
Good old Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's more like a scrying eye, but I'm more than happy to say that the clairvoyance one has like a white eye, because that's kind of cool.
Is Mr. Jared here?
I believe so.
Threign,
Yes.
what did you look for, Threign?
Is there something Threign wants to fight in the room? I don't know.
Obsidian Foot. I want to beat him to death with it.
Well, I thought maybe he could, because I like weapons and other such things. I thought maybe I could scan any weapons that might be in the room, anything that he personally uses, so I can maybe gauge any magical properties or anything of that value. Look at his weaponry and armory.
Stacked up next to his armor on the stand, sitting on a display case, wooden claws holding aloft, you can see what looks like a warhammer. It has been carved into the shape of a fist on one side and a foot on the other. Both of them are carved from obsidian. This has to be magical, Threign, because obsidian, while being quite a strong material, shatters with any real significant impact, which means that this warhammer, unless he's replacing these every few strikes, this must be magical of some regard. The shaft of it is made of brass or bronze, kind of hard to say. It's this very sort of orangey kind of metal, and it has bands of iron through it. Threign, could you make me a investigation or perception check? You do know a little bit about weapons and a little bit about, I would say, the kind of like functionality of them. There would be some information you might be able to get from this as you examine it.
By that same regard, does that mean that his foot is magical?
It would have to be.
That increases the price, Harry.
Harry,
Oh, hell
we're talking bags of platinum, Harry, for this foot.
Ding, 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 ding.
So I rolled
You just see
a
dollar
19 plus
signs.
4, by the way, so 23.
23!
Whoa. Good
Threign.
roll.
Threign. This is not of Dwarven make, or at least not of Duergar make. It's been adapted. The obsidian that's been mounted on it, that's been done with this dark banded iron. You can see around the shaft, there's been dark banded iron bolted onto it. But the core of this warhammer, it's not Dwarven make. The reason you recognize it is because it's clearly giant make. The material, the brass and the bronze, it's the same material most of the Warforged are made out of. It's shrunk down, definitely. Probably its real form is much larger. And the other thing you notice as well, set right into the handle of this warhammer is a heartstone.
Oh,
Right, it's also-
it's nuts.
It's sort of like it's like the stone version of the frost cleaver.
It is exactly. Threign, this looks like an ancestral weapon of the stone giants.
I'm going to basically to everyone. I'm going to at least claim that for now. I need to check that out. If not, I need to send it off to my clan. That is a giant artifact that must be treasured, stored away securely.
Harry, you're currently connected to your... Actually, Harry and Bart, both of you, have resonance with your stone giant echoes.
Ooh.
Yep. But Harry probably couldn't even really lift that hammer. It looks pretty heavy. Do we we could always just return it to, if who knows, if the stone giants are nice, we could always just return it to them for money.
I would like to attempt to communicate into it. We've seen the Archivist, we've seen Animus. Obsidian Foot said that it's like it doesn't want him. I feel like there's another aspect inside this. I'd like to talk to it if we can. See what we can learn. If it doesn't agree with Obsidian Foot, then it might be another positive created entity, not like Animus and more like the Archivist.
Would you want to go back into the stone? Induce another dream? Is that what you're saying?
Possibly. Before time's up, I'm going to do that thing Bart was looking for and dart around the room looking for keys, his master keys.
As you look through the sensor, Bart, examining the area, could you make me a perception or investigation check? Your choice.
Okay, 12. Not
12.
horrible.
As you look around the room, unfortunately, no sign of any keyrings sitting out on the desk or hanging from an obvious peg. Rather annoyingly, as you look around, if Obsidian Foot is carrying keys on him, he's got them tucked away. They're not just sitting from a belt jangling. They're not hanging up anywhere obvious in the room. As you look around, you can see that the stone plinths, if Ember's observation is correct, those stone plinths are going to be hollow, same as the one at Blindenstone. There may be items inside those plinths, but nothing is outside and obvious. No keys sit out on desks or strapped to a belt within view of where you can see. You can't hear any jingling of keys, unfortunately.
In drawers or undergarments. Okay, well, Harry helps with both of those, to be honest. Okay. As the connection sort of fades and breaks.
Lyra's going to say, there weren't any interesting mushrooms. I'm sorry, I really tried my best to find them, but I couldn't see them.
You did well.
Are you okay, by the way? I'm going to come over here.
Yeah.
Vomited on the ground.
I've just never seen such brutality before. I've never felt so helpless. It's just hard to watch. Not be able to do anything.
I guess you understand a little bit of what it felt like being there now.
I'm going to feed him to the mycelium. I promise.
I thought that all souls could be redeemed, but I don't think that one is.
I've actually killed Matt's philosophy today with this session.
I don't think there's anything I can do. I can't.
Oh, there's something we can do.
Oh no!
Threign. But
don't worry. I know what we can do, and I think I want to do it. But no, my understanding, my teachings did not train me for this.
Does it help at all, Bart, knowing that when you kill him, he's going straight into service of that Cambion?
I was actually thinking on our travels here, I was conflicted on, similar to what happened with Shidaridak, if killing Obsidian Foot would put me down some dark path away from Satine. I was considering it being worth it, to be honest. The vengeance. I spoke to Threign a little bit before we had to get moving again, talking about revenge. But I feel like this gives me a silver line. If he's going to go into service of, what did you say, Niles, Mephistopheles?
Potentially.
Then killing him would be a punishment worthy of his own errors in life.
I was going to say, perhaps killing him is too easy of a thing, but the way you say it there does make it seem a little bit more...
I would like to ask from all of you, and I don't know how easy it'll be in the heat of the moment, but I would like to send him away.
Oh, certainly. I think that's a given.
I'll only interfere if there's innocent lives at stake, and he'll have it, like, me not acting or give him a chance to hurt someone else. That's the only... otherwise, he's all yours, Bart. Like, I'll beat the shit out of him too, don't worry. But
I wasn't the only slave that he hurt. There were many, many others, and my only friend in the mines... look, I knew Noose and Gook and all the others, but I only knew them through deals and trades for food. My only friend was killed when we both tried to escape. It was that made me want to pledge to Satine, trying to find some vague hope of escape, and I guess that raw emotion is what pushed whatever happens to me in my youth. But yeah, I would like to finish. He deserves this more than anyone else.
What he did to the Myconids, absolutely fuck him up. Let's go.
That's a little bit of insight into his state of being is rather good, though. It gives us a bit of an advantage.
I was thinking the exact same thing. There's a chance that we may not even have to fight this city. Similar to the hopes with the heiress theocracy, we could simply just take out him after or before convincing all his followers of what happened. I memorized, and I'm going to quickly start writing it down on like a piece of charcoal or something. Are you going to just let it fly away? You're not that weak, aren't you? 12 of your men and women, 12 of your finest warriors, Mr. Foot. I want to say those words in front of him, in front of other Duergar, and then maybe with some illusion magic from Harry, replay the scene. I feel like we can get our vengeance, kill him, rescue the Duergar, and have all of this ended with a single death, rather than with many of us having to risk our life facing an entire garrison.
It does seem like whatever hold he has over this situation is slipping. It seems to be why he might be making deals with that Cambion.
Rapidly.
That is a good opportunity for us to turn it to our advantage if need be.
If I do get that point. I like the idea of obviously convincing the other Duergar not to fight us. They're a warlike people, so it's going to be difficult. But speaking of the Cambion, I know you mentioned the Tempest Guild faced off against Tiamat, and Tiamat being a devil of kinds, albeit the dragon devil. Have any of you personally had any interactions with fiends, devils as a creature type, a kind? Something that we could possibly use to our advantage if we wanted to maybe make a bargain of our own with the Cambion if the opportunity arises?
I don't know much about devils and Cambions, but I think that would be a bit of a bad idea. I don't want to. I don't want to think that we're...
The fact that the dogs are growling at the suggestion, it's got to be some sort of warning sign, right? The fact that Poppy's there like, no, Matt, no. Dogs can sense evil.
She's sensing something, that's for sure.
It's just a very delayed response to Obsidian Foot.
Yeah. Even if I think it's an interesting idea. I just don't want to. Do
you want to see? Because this is exploring areas of your backstory that we haven't explored with each of you.
That's true.
What do you know of devils and demons? Do you have any personal experience? That's a really good question. I'm going to get each of you to roll me a D100. Everyone can roll me a D100. I won't roll Lyra's or Ali's. Ali's going to keep hers, or Lyra's going to keep hers to herself for the time being.
Pretty low.
17. Cool. Yeah.
38.
Bartholomew, you've heard of devils and demons, but your knowledge on them, I mean, there's so much you needed to learn under the Liang clan. There's so much you needed. Knowledge of devils and demons wasn't necessary, wasn't part of the education training. You know vaguely that they exist. You know they're fighting in an eternal war.
Is that something that is not really even associated with the aristocracy, right? Like the whole idea.
Devils and demons are...
Aside from maybe being in like folklore or tales.
I mean, the knowledge of the hells is that they exist. Don't go there.
Okay, so it's like very rudimentary.
Yeah, it's not even a point.
We're never going to end up there anyway, so it's
exactly. That's where your enemies go. The poor souls who have not yet converted. No, your focus in terms of planar focus for both Bartholomew and Niles, your training was much more focused on the elemental planes. So yours was 38, wasn't it? Yeah, much more focused on the elemental planes, particularly the elemental plane of air. I mean, Niles, with a 38, your mentor gave you a little bit more information. Essentially, like along the lines of, don't make deals with devils, don't invite a vampire across the thresholds, like just very like...
the basic rudimentary stuff.
Yeah, the basic information he thought you needed. Like, this is like part of your training, like you do like punches against the thing, like don't make deals with devils, don't invite a vampire across the threshold, like don't go out at a full moon in a werewolf forest, like just the obvious shit that he got you to do as like a chick, as a fledgling. What are our other roles? We've got was that a 2 for... Oh no, that was the second one. So
I don't know why that... I was just going to say, I don't know why that rolled through.
Ember 39. Ember, yeah, the same. The Druids of Wildfire, I mean, what you would know of Devils and Demons is a little bit different from Niles and Bart. Your knowledge is more focused on the fires. The fires of Avernus are corruptible. They are the only impure form of fire. The flames that demons wield are disgusting and unnatural. It's kind of your wildfire circle of it, and you know that the blight,
like taboo.
yeah, and the blight druids that your entire circle existed to wipe out the blight druids. There were whispered hushes that potentially they might have had an infernal origin. Maybe there was some devilish or demonic influence that created the wildfire, that created the blight druids. That the wildfire druids, the circle came together to burn out the corruption. So. Not a huge amount of knowledge. Harry, 59. I'm going to say, Harry, you, as a merchant, you hear tales of deals with devils all the time. Devils are willing to make bargains. Trade. And not always for your soul. There are other things they can want as well. You would have heard a tale of a very wealthy merchant in Paladin. A merchant who it was rumoured had made a deal with the devil for his vast wealth. For over the space of a few weeks, he went from a very, very poor, very impoverished man to one of the most influential and richest merchants in Paladin, making incredible decisions and bargains and trades, capitalizing on situations as if he had foreknowledge of them for 7 years. And
like my cousin-in-law Ricky.
Yeah,
no
Ricky. Sure.
Again.
Let's say it was, and then in 7 years, Ricky vanished, never to be seen again. His wealth and estate falling into disrepair and being broken up amongst your 200 other cousins.
Yeah, it's still like we've paid more than that in legal fees by this point.
Yeah. It was a bitter Warren fight that occurred for months afterwards. Much thumping of legs, much anger, twitching of ears and noses. Threign, 76.
Oof.
Threign, how would you like to have actually fought a demon on the ice?
I think, I'll leave it with you, actually. I think that'd be really cool to see how... Let's leave it to sort of the randomness. I can't really think otherwise how I would encounter it, so... Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm going to say you have fought a demonic creature made of ice, this bat-like creature that emerged and threatened your tribe many, many, many years ago when you were a young Goliath. You faced it with a group of your comrades. 2 of your friends died fighting this thing, but you were able to, with the assistance of your clan chief at the time, able to destroy this thing. You found out later it was called Mavahuan, which is a very demonic ice-like creature. 4 yellow eyes, a massive ice mandible, large wings made of ice, and massive claws.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I just saw one from 4th edition.
Yeah, it's not from 5th edition; it's from 4th edition. I'm resurrecting an old monster.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you and your comrades fought this, and the strength of your tribe leader, the strength of your Jarl, was the only thing that helped defeat this thing. It was a powerful foe. I would say that you were injured during that fight, not terribly injured, but yeah, and when it was destroyed, it melted away to nothing. There's not even a trophy of it. The only trophy you have is one of the swords that was jabbed into it. Actually, I'm going to say one of the spears. One of the spears that was jabbed into it turned to ice, froze, and that ice has never melted to this day. And that's the trophy that hangs on the wall in the hut back at your village.
That's cool.
Sick.
That's real sick. That's awesome.
There's got to be a cool hunting trophy. And
yeah.
given it melts into ice at the end, melts into water at the end, I'm like, we got to have something cool. All right, let's say a spear. A never melting ice spear's left behind from it.
And it suits the ice trap.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, well, if this is the case and we think that possibly we can finish this with just Obsidian Foot, we need to get to the city, obviously, to do that, no matter what. The element of surprise will be important, and we still have some very hungry friends.
Yes.
Towards the Krogoths.
We don't forgotten.
As you turn around and look,
I give an idle wave to them.
Krogoths are gone.
They're all gone.
Oh, look at the bridge.
Oh,
Look at the bridge. 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 Lo
What?
Look at the bridge. I'm going to look at the bridge. I'm going to ask others to look at the bridge.
The
Looking at the
bridge
bridge, what did I
is
see?
a battlefield. You can see blood splattered across the metal. The bodies of Duergar torn apart. One of the Quaggoths has fallen in battle. You can see that it has been speared through the chest, its body lying there.
Oh,
3 of the Quaggoths
no.
are still on the bridge below, currently feasting on the bodies of the dwarves.
Oh,
Now
okay.
this is more interesting. It was good. It was a bit too boring. This is very good.
Okay, Niles, you need to fly now. You need to
I'm
go
gonna start
ahead,
stretching.
past the
and
bridge.
start getting my axe out.
It's at this point you hear...
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Ask you to see if there's any people that managed to
You
get
brought a
away.
whole bunch of Quaggoths with you, then stood there not hearing or seeing for like 10 minutes. What did you expect would happen?
Amazing.
I even checked, I was like,
guys.
is everyone going to listen and see through the clairvoyance? Yeah. We'll all listen through Harry's connection.
We could use the Quaggoths to cover for ourselves. I mean, they don't know that we're here yet, I suppose.
That's true. They don't know that we're here.
This could be the perfect distraction, and I mean, the Quaggoths weren't the best of creatures anyway. We saw the wall. I feel kind of bad, but like, we could use it to get into the side. This could be the perfect distraction.
They're having fun. They didn't wait for us or anything.
You
was
watch
gonna
as
ask you
one
that
of the
first.
Quaggoths grabs the body of one of the Duergar, and another Quaggoth, seeing, runs over and grabs the head in its mouth. And as they both pull, they tear the dwarf apart, the entrails spilling out across the bridge. As the
Wow.
Quaggoth with the dwarf's head in its mouth bites down, you hear this sickening crunch, even from 200 feet.
Did say that we would
Lyra
try and save the
will vomit.
Duergar, Lyra?
Lyra does
I
a little
think
vomit
that
over the side
plan
again.
Might have sailed.
You can stay here, Niles. I'm going to grab you by the shoulders. I was going to ask you to try to maybe stop any of the Duergar that had escaped the fight. That's too late now. I'm going to look towards the Quaggoths and say a small little, I guess, like,
prayer.
haiku.
Constant achievement style. Just like, sitting there like,
For what was his eye scar, the one that we were friends with.
You're calling him
the
Scratched
little guy.
Face or something like that.
Yeah, look,
Scratch for sure.
We didn't understand his name, and I met him for about maybe 10 minutes, but I'm going to say a small little prayer for Scratch Face. And he's the only one that has the temporary hit points. Maybe we'll see him in the city. I don't know if he'll fight through a horde of Duergar. I'm going to jump on Kong Chi. Let's get going. The horn sounded. They're probably going to be here
Kong
within
Chi,
minutes.
the goat track would have been way too small for Kong Chi. Even here, you're currently like tracking these tiny tunnels around the edges of this chasm. You're going to have to resummon Kong Chi to get down the bottom. There's no way Kong Chi's making it down. There were parts where you were climbing vertically.
Is there
Kong
any
Chi's not a
chance we're
vertical
using 2024 so I can use my one free use of Find Steed?
Have you switched to the 2024?
I don't know. Have we?
It's up to you. No. It's up to you. It's up to you. So if you want to switch across to the new rules,
It's
you
not
can.
free. You do need to get it.
I've already bought it. I just didn't know if we
No,
would do it as a
You've got
campaign.
it. I've shared it with everyone. I've got it.
Oh,
New
you've got
rules
it
are
now?
up. Everyone's got access to them. So
I didn't know.
when you get a
I
chance, have a look
Access
through,
to that.
see if you want to make the switch.
Yeah, I'm
across.
actually I've already switched across.
Oh, I haven't done
I'm
it yet.
keen. I just didn't know if we were doing it as
Weapon,
I didn't want to.
It's up
make
to
that-
you
the
guys.
weapon
No.
mastery looks cool.
I
I
think
do want
guys-
to kind of make it like an earned thing for Niles. Testing his abilities. But anyway, go Chris.
Purely because it gives me Kong Chi right now, and I do like the Paladin changes. Some of the stuff makes sense. For example, one big thing is the devotion. My light sword is now on an attack similar to smite, so I don't need to use an entire action to light it up, which is always so annoying.
Oh,
and the
that's cool.
smites as spells make sense. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
it does
So
make sense.
I am gonna switch over, so I'll use my free use of summon Kong Chi as my wingless Fey Rev, which I've also made a little bit of a backstory for how he lost his wings. Was an Obsidian Foot with some poachers, but I'll summon him from the whatever plane of existence he comes from, and give him a nice stroke after seeing that armor piece and a bit of sort of PTSD and anxiety starting to build up. And if there's the main road, I will look to everyone else. Obviously, the Quaggoths are a perfect surprise right now. They said this is the weakest entrance. How do we get into the city with them being a distraction? I see one path and a lava bridge.
You can now hear the sound of roaring and metal banging against metal coming from out of sight.
From where we are and what we're looking at, Bart just made that point. Is there any other access into the city, like a little trail to the side or a little path? Or
Yeah, if there's a fountain, a river of lava, could we just go to the other side of the river?
As you look at the map that Figment has on Harry's Hearthstone, yeah, absolutely. But you're going to be climbing across rock underneath a lava waterfall. The wall of the cave travels along here. There's not really a set track. The road itself, from what you can see on this little holographic display, this illusionary display, the road has been constructed as the main thoroughfare. No one's bothered to make goat tracks. No one's made any other side entrances from what you can see. You're going to be climbing across exposed rock up against the wall where the lava is pouring over the edge.
Okay, let's follow your map and go there. And Lyra, can you mold cover for us?
I can try, but it's only a little bit I can do at a time, and we're going to be exposed every time I try and do it. It's going to be slow. It's going to be really slow going.
Like 3 of us hit spider climb, right?
And I was going to say I can get Flicker to transport people 15 feet at a time on certain edges if it's a little bit too.
That works as well. All we need to do is, I reckon, this distraction can simply help us get to the other side of the river. Once we're there, we can walk our way to the city, find a way to get down the waterfall on that side of it. I feel like we just need to get down here and across before the fighting ends.
Maybe should we try and get across the bridge while they're focused? Because they're not fighting on the bridge anymore. Like I'm looking down, I can't see any of the Quaggoths or the Duergar fighting on the bridge. Maybe we just get down and get across the bridge and hide across the other side while they're duking it out. And I mean, if the Duergar win, they're going to be trying to take their injured back to the city. There's going to be like very few people left behind. We can just ambush them and make our way or sneak past them. If the Quaggoths win, we just follow the Quaggoths at a distance until the Quaggoths are dead. It seems kind of cold, but I mean, they looked like they were going to eat Harry, and I'm not okay with that.
No, me neither.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the bridge for now, and there's a lot of rocky terrain here. We should be able to find somewhere to hide. Perfect.
As the 6 of you make your way down along the narrow ledge that snakes its way backwards and forwards, heading downwards in a zigzag down the cave wall towards the metal bridge, halfway down a tunnel opens up behind you, and you once again find yourselves moving through the rock, moving through this tunnel, carved long, long ago, either by dwarves or by creatures that tunnel and burrow through the stone and rock, before you emerge at the base of a much, much larger tunnel that, rather than heading up, actually heads beyond, through the cave wall into a much larger cavern behind you. In front of you, though, you can see the ruined Duergar strewn across the bridge, and beyond, 90, 100 feet away, the Quaggoths engaged in battle with a small army of Duergar. That is where we're going to wrap up for tonight.
Okay.
It's because
so much to do. There's so much to do.
Any decisions you do tonight are going to lead so naturally onto the next. I think this is the best spot to finish up for tonight, so that we've got all of that to enjoy next time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Bit of a fiendish connection there with Obsidian Foot, and given that you rolled randomly to view, you might have never seen that or known about it. That was
that was huge.
Yeah, that was very, very nicely done. I
think that was a way better call.
Yeah.
The lucky rabbit's foot.
I had something interesting for the town square too. It was the potion of clairvoyance was never going to be a waste. I had interesting things for either one, depending.
Okay. I was really worried around immersive realism and just coming to an empty office and
you got the way back after having your shit.
I do immersive narrative realism, so there will be we bend the laws of expectation and
I
luck
feel like
for narrative purposes, of course.
Without Owen giving stuff away, I feel like we would have learned stuff about and seen the stone giants directly from the courtyard. Seen them.
I had 3 locations actually that I had fully prepared stuff for the clairvoyance for, and a 4th one I had a very rough idea of what you'd be seeing or doing if you looked at it. because I figured the clairvoyance, you might use it for a couple of occasions. One was the slave camp. I thought maybe you might try and look at the slave camp, Bart, to see the Sverniblin and see the other slaves. I had a whole thing ready for them just in case. And then the fourth one, I wondered if you might have a peek back at Blindenstone at some point, just to keep an eye on the people you've left behind.
Oh, yeah.
I had something interesting prepared for that too.
Never even considered.
I always...
Yeah,
no.
The amount of distance we've traveled vertical, however, I figured that we're many miles away, so I wouldn't be able to reach them.
Not from here, no. But I didn't know when you'd use the potion of clairvoyance, but
Yeah.
One thing you'll notice is whenever you do things, I always try and give you some impact from wherever I can, within the realms.
Yeah, you're not here to screw us over.
God, no, we're here to have fun.
We're
We're here to have as much fun as possible. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I hope you too have had lots of fun. If you have, it's time to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you've already hit it, guess what? You're a fucking legend. D20. You get a natural 20 for your next D20 roll. It's there. It's just been organized if you hit subscribe. If you have now just hit subscribe, guess what? You get one as well. It's retrospective. We are going to go and raid the Eldritch Scribe. They haven't streamed in a little bit. Let's go and raid the Eldritch Scribe. For those of you watching us on Twitch, we're going to go and raid them. For everyone who is watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. We are well on our way to 1,500 subscribers. If we can hit that goal before the end of the year on YouTube, that'll be huge. That'd be so cool. I've already got a special 1.5k subscribers thing planned. I've got another really cool one for 2k as well. So, yeah.
So how far away are we exactly?
Like, I think 50 people, 60 people. It's very achievable. Look, I'm probably setting it as a bit of a pessimistic goal, saying by the end of the year it'll probably be a bit sooner than that. So thank you very much. Yes, there will be YouTube specials for it, 100%. Always specials for the big moments. All right, lovely people, we better rock and roll. I will play the outro, and we will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, stay safe, stay well. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys.
Mwah.